Gianluca Busio. Gianluca, how are you? Welcome to Morning Footy.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Okay, take us back to that goal against Trinidad and Tobago, because this was your first international goal, and it just happened to be in your home state of North Carolina. I saw the pictures of your family at the match. What was that moment like?
Yeah, obviously it was a special moment. I think before the game, it was kind of in the back of my head. You know, I want to give them something to celebrate, and you know, I started to get a little late in the game, so I was kind of pushing forward a little bit, and you know, Aggressel played a great ball back, and you know, I took a good first touch, and all I had to do was pass it in. But you know, as soon as I scored, I was thinking, you know, I'm so glad that one went in. You know, I had a couple other chances, but that one went in, and it was kind of late in the game also, so it was kind of a big sigh of relief. But you know, I'm looking back at it, it was a great moment, and to do it in front of my family and all the loved ones was so special for me, and a moment I'm definitely never going to forget.
Gianluca, we share something in common. I scored my first international goal against Trinidad and Tobago as well. But I want you to take it a step further. What did this goal mean to you in terms of significance, considering the ups and downs of your club career in Europe? How important was it for you to get going again and feel that confidence and love of the game?
Yeah, I think you said it pretty much. It's big for confidence. I think as a player, you know, confidence is one of the biggest things you can have as a player. If you're down on confidence, you know, people will see it, and it's kind of only up to you to decide that. And like you said, you know, club season wasn't great, so for me to get an opportunity to play in the Gold Cup, it was, you know, I was ready for it, and you know, I did my work in the off season, but you know, I was coming in, I would say, low on confidence really. Then, you know, obviously the first couple games I got out there, and you know, thanks to BJ for giving me the chance, but you know, I got out there, and you know, even the 2 assists, you know, slowly building confidence like that. And then the goal, it you know, kind of had that feeling of being back to my old self, and you know, it was huge for my confidence. And I think, you know, when I have confidence, I can be, you know, as good as I want to be.
Gianluca, I want to talk to you a little bit about BJ Callahan as the coach. We've asked the question of a couple of players, but for someone like you, getting the opportunity to kind of get back into that national team picture, getting a chance to get a little bit of a reprieve from your European season, how influential has BJ Callahan been into that building of confidence that we're now seeing on the pitch?
Yeah, I think he's been great with all the players, really. I think he's just, you know, a great guy in general, and he gets the players going. You know, he knows how to motivate the guys, and I think it shows. We're all here to play for him, and you know, he's the coach, so everybody has respect for him, even if it is, you know, early days as him being the head coach. We all have major respect for him, and I think that shows. And he also respects us, and he trusts us. So, you know, he's been good for me the past, you know, I've been with him for only this camp, but you know, so far he's you know, been excellent for me in coaching me. I've been learning new things, but also, like I said, I think confidence is big. And, you know, when your coach has confidence in you, it gives you confidence on the pitch. So for me, he's been excellent with that, and, you know, I couldn't ask for more.
Gianluca, take us back to your younger days. Who would you say were your inspirations for the love of the game of football? Who inspired you as a player that you wanted to mold your game around?
I think I grew up watching a lot of Serie, so you know, Pirlo was one of the main ones for me. I think, you know, he was kind of the face of Serie when I was growing up and watching with my dad, and you know, we'd always watch him. And you know, like I think I've always said it before, just the calmness in his game, and you know, how he just moved and controlled the game with, you know, not being the biggest guy or the most physical guy, was just, you know, so impressive to me. And you know, it was just kind of the vibe he gave off from the game, and how he controlled it with, you know, from different roles, and just, you know, playing kind of at his own tempo. That for me was special. And you know, now I'm trying to do it in his style, but also, you know, add my own little flavor to it.
Since you've been over in Italy, where has your game improved the most, and where do you think you still need to improve and make some tweaks to adjust your game? But I can tell just from the way that you're moving with the U.S. men's national team, you got your groove back. You're feeling it.
Yeah, that is definitely trying to the goal, and a couple of assists help. But you know, I think in Italy you learn so much about, you know, playing as a team and doing your part for the team. You know, it's not about individual success. It's can you help the team? And, you know, like, I feel like a lot of people always say that Italy is very big on tactics and everything. And I think that's very true, being a part of that. So I've kind of learned about, you know, a different side of the game, really, a kind of the tactical side, how to break down an opponent, you know, kind of reading the film before the game and all of that. And it's helped me a lot as a player, knowing, you know, what you can exploit and everything. So, you know, for me, I kind of take that into wherever I go, you know, even with national team, you know, you study the opponent before the game and, you know, see what gaps could be open, stuff like that. And for me, that's improved a lot with me. And, you know, I take more pride in, you know, really studying the game before we play in it.
Let's talk a little bit more about experience in Italy, and mostly I want to talk about your fits, my guy. You know, you're out in Italy. You're a stepper on the team. You know, we see it. We saw the photo shoot you did with L'Officiel. Come on now. What are some of the brands that you're bringing to some of the other guys? Like, oh, you all know about this yet? You ain't got this yet?
Yeah,
Fuck
right there
yeah.
on the couch.
Is that a Drake pose? Was that?
Yeah, buddy, he gets emo sometimes. Gianluca,
Drake,
a little something for the ladies. Gianluca, talk to me about some of the brands that you're seeing out there in Venezia that you think are going to be the next big thing.
That's tough. The next big thing. I kind of wear what's I don't want to be a trend, hop on all the trends, but I kind of wear what's popular. I try to find the hidden gems and all the popular stuff, but I don't know. I'm a big whatever. I kind of just go in everywhere and, you know, find stuff I like. I don't think there's one brand it's especially I would wear the most. It's kind of a broad range, or it's kind of tough to put my finger on one exact brand.
I like that. No free promos here.
Right? This guy's like,
Okay.
whoever sends me a check.
Too many exactly.
You said, Dolce, send me a check.
Yeah.
Well played.
Gianluca, where do you see yourself? Where would you like to see yourself in the next, let's say, 3-4 years?
Yeah, I think that's obviously I have goals, and, you know, obviously I think for national team it's to continue to be in the picture. Obviously we have a lot of big tournaments coming up, Copa America, the Olympics for me especially, and so for me those are what I have my mindset on for the national team. And I think, you know, that's always what I want to be a part of, and, you know, it's easy to kind of set those goals knowing that those are coming up. So I think those two for sure are the biggest ones for me right now. And then, you know, obviously with the club situation, it can go any way. I think I'm at Venice right now, and I'm happy there, and, you know, I'm gonna try to get back on track over there. Then, you know, hopefully if I play well, then, you know, hopefully we either go back to Serie A or, you know, I continue that way. But I think it's up in the air, and, you know, I don't really want to say anything yet. I just kind of want to prove myself at Venice first, and then hopefully we can see what happens after that.
Love it. Well, Gianluca, over the 4th of July, I was with the family, hanging out with your boy, Ronan, and PQ, and we were actually watching your match together. And I will tell you, when you scored, the amount of screams and fist pumping that happened in that house was just extraordinary. It was such a cool moment. We were all so dang proud of you. It was really, really cool. So I felt I had to bring back the childhood photos that my cousin was so lovely to share with me. So you would look at these two guys just doing their thing. When you see these photos, Gianluca, what are some of the best memories you have of playing soccer growing up in North Carolina?
Yeah, obviously, there's a lot of memories then. I think it wasn't just soccer, really. Me and Ronan played every sport together, no matter what it was. We tried every sport together, but, you know, always in soccer, we were always I don't want to brag, but we were always the best at our age there. So we were always,
I don't want to brag. We were always the best.
Scored 10 goals.
Yeah. Oh, we bodied everybody, not to brag, but, you know.
Yeah. No, but me and Ronan were like, I don't know, we were a dynamic duo, I would say, especially. So it was really special, and, you know, there's a lot of memories and just good times I really look back on it. That really kind of grew my love for soccer, especially, you know, playing with your best friend and just growing up together was special.
It was awesome. I've told this story before, but I saw Ronan and Gianluca play when they were about 10 years old. I was down in North Carolina for a game, and I think you scored like 6 goals in the game.
Wow.
It was you just felt bad for the other kids. You were like, oh no. But you were always doing your thing. Gianluca, we are so proud of you. Keep doing your thing. Best of luck against Canada. We appreciate you joining us today.